Greetings. Good morning. This is Matthew Sweigart, Sage Buffalo with Great Heart. I'm here to introduce today the program called Iron John Working Group. And I'd like to invite you to explore this with me. It's a 6-month program, but it's one day at a time. Like the old AA saying, one day at a time. And so in our first day long, we're going to do one day long each month for 6 months. And you can come to all 6, or you can drop in to individual days that speak to you. Ideally, we're looking for a group of men who want to commit to working together, working on themselves, ultimately, with the support of other men. It's an Iron John working group. Now, you may be familiar with the phrase Iron John or the book Iron John by Robert Bly. I will be drawing from that book quite a bit. And I will be drawing from the processes in the Mankind Project. That's why this invitation is being sent out to initiated men. But it's not just for initiated men, it's also to initiate men in the various processes that are utilized in the Mankind Project, but also in other men's work from various traditions and various cultural positions. I'm coming to you today from Northern California, where it's nice and cool and 35-ish, and that's why I've got my muffler on and my hat and my nice wool sweater, and it's really fun to bring this to you today. I want to today introduce you to the content of the first 2 day longs. The first day long will be devoted to tracking sensations and emotions in the body, and the second day long will be devoted to the processes around accountability and integrity. And so tracking sensations in the body, the first day long, is really an essential skill. It really has to draw from the traditions of emotional intelligence, from understanding the sensations in your body that are speaking to you, and allowing yourself to begin to create a lexicon for discovery of what the messages are that you're carrying inside you. I like this phrase that one of my teachers is recently, I've been studying with a new teacher, and she uses the phrase, you slip into your comfort zone, right? You get up in the morning and you put your boots on. And what boots are you putting on is the question, right? What boots are you putting on? Are you putting on the boots of stoic, strong man? Or are you putting on the boots of an awakened, aware, available in the moment man? A man who wants to listen to what's going on right now in this moment. That's the gift of tracking sensations. I'll be drawing from the work of Steve Hoskinson's model of organic intelligence, where he focuses in on what is called the ISOMA: images, sensations, orientation, meaning, and affect. Now, we are meaning-making machines, right? Our Rolf Institute talked about that, and Erhard Seminars training, Werner Erhard, the Forum, right? Est talked a lot about meaning, right? We make meanings. That's also very manly. Masculine men know things, right? And I have a new client recently who said, I've given up being know-it-all of all things. And so know-it-all, meaning. So images, sensations, orientation, meaning, and affect become tools for self-inquiry. What images are guiding you? When you put your boots on this morning, what image was with that? What affect, what emotion, what meaning did you give to that, right? What sensation in your body did you feel? And orientation is very simply orienting to this space and time. You know, in the Mankind Project, many of you are familiar with the idea of calling in the directions, right? And so also, if you've done any Native American spiritual practices, you know about this calling in of the directions. It's replete in almost all indigenous teachings is this idea of direction. So orient yourself in space. Know where south is. Know where west is. Know where north is. Know where east is. Know where the above world is. Know where the below world is, and know where within is. You know, within is that center point that does not move. It's the center point of the spinning wheel. You know, every tire has a hub, and we're going for the hub. We're looking in with the ISOMA model, with the emotional intelligence model, mad, sad, glad, afraid, shame, right? These are the 5 major categories of emotional feeling tone in the affect. And then we make meanings about that because it's manly to be angry, but it's not manly to be sad, etc. It goes on. So images, sensations. What is our image of masculinity? What is that image of fullness and wholeness? Who is the natural man? The natural man that wants to emanate from your center. And where is your center? Is the center here behind your eyes? Or is it here in your chest and the heart center? Or is it here in the belly center, right? These are the 3 dantians. And we'll work with Qigong to track these sensations within the body. Qigong movement forms, ancient practice forms that have been with us for millennia, and they help guide us to being more natural, more whole beings. So this will be our first day's practice to explore ISOMA and the ability to track for sensation, meaning, affect, images, and orient ourselves in the space that we find ourselves. I'm right now broadcasting and recording from my home, and you'll see the ceiling fan and the painting on the wall. That my son did that back in high school, right? And these are really cool. And then there's this beautiful Japanese wall hanging. That's actually the doorway to my boudoir. Anyway, and of course a mirror. Everyone needs a mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Who is that man? Who is that man in the mirror? That's what we're doing in the first day long, getting connected to our ability to tap in to our inner core. Who am I at my core? In the second day long, now we start to take that into the work of accountability and integrity. Are you a man of your word? Do you say what you mean and mean what you say? Do you do what you said you would do? Or do you not do what you said you would do? Are you a liar? Right? Do you put on a show? Or do you appease? And this is kind of tracking into the codependency literature, that understanding about how you set your own needs aside so that you can serve the needs of others, or at least the perceived needs of others, right? I'm not going to be myself, because it's so easy to just let the other person lead the way, right? So when your spouse or your significant other talks to you and says, what do you want to do today? And your answer is, well, I don't know. What do you want to do? Let's do that. And so then at that very moment, you have abdicated integrity. You have abdicated accountability. Because instead of actually answering the question, what do you want? You give it over to them and put it back on them to do what they want. And then you're happy to do that. All right, now, if it doesn't go your way, you end up resenting them. That's the ugly backside of codependency, giving up yourself in order to please another or hope that you will please another, But in the end, you didn't please anyone. They did not get pleased. You did not get pleased because you didn't answer that first question. What do you want? What do you want? Where are you going? Where are you going? This is what Sam Keen said in his work. What is that work called? Fire in the Belly. Fire in the Belly. He says there are two questions a man has to ask himself. One is, where am I going? And the second question is, who am I going with? And the invitation is, don't answer those questions in the wrong order. Answer this first question first. Where am I going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? Do you know? Oh, and then here comes the second finger. Who are you going with? Because if you answer this first question for yourself, you will be going alongside people who have answered that first question in a similar manner to the way that you answered it. This is how we come together, ultimately. Right? One of my favorite teachers were a couple that worked with the Vision Quest process. They were a white couple trained with the Sundancers on the Pine Ridge Reservation, and they had moved deeply into the spiritual practices. And they had both had first marriages that ended in divorce and then found one another on their spiritual path. And as the wife spoke it, she said, he is moving closer to spirit, and I am moving closer to spirit. And as we both are moving closer to spirit, we are coming closer together. So side by side, I bow to you standing at your side. I bow to you standing at your side. This is accountability. This is integrity. This is know what you want. Go for that. And then the person who is also going for that will show up at your side. Now, if you answer that second question first, who am I going with? You'll be giving away your own self to their interests from the get-go. And we all do this. We all do this. Okay, so it's great learning. No regrets, no mistakes, right? Only memories made. And from those memories, from those experiences, you get better and more clear about what it is that I want. And that's where the accountability and integrity processes come in. Because at this point, we're going to just look minutely, if you will, at those moments in your life where you said you'd do something, but then for some reason you didn't do it. We're going to look into that. And without shame, it's not about shaming you. It's about honesty. Honestly looking at, oh, what did I choose to do instead? Did I end up blaming somebody else for the place I ended up at? Rather than taking on full accountability and responsibility for my choice? I was talking with my young son the other day, and I said, you can dig your own grave. Everybody digs their own grave. And indeed, we are moving toward that. All of us, nobody gets out of this life alive. But let's hope that we can connect to something a little more meaningful, a little more attuned, like a musical instrument. And so in this Iron John working group, we are working to attune ourselves. It's like you take a musical instrument and you don't play it for a while, or the weather gets to it and it goes out of tune. And you got to retune that instrument in order to play that song. So we're looking at the process of what it takes to attune to our true nature. And that is the point of the Iron John working group, to connect with the natural man within. So these first 2 day longs, the first one will be tracking sensation, connecting to affect and emotion and images and meanings, and orienting ourselves in space in this ever-present now moment. And the second day long will be about accountability, being accountable to that. When you can be accountable to that, then you're a man of integrity. Then you're a man of accountability. Then you're a man who can be relied upon. I can count upon you to speak your truth from your present location instead of pretending to be somewhere you're not, or to be someone you're not, just to please or appease whatever you may perceive the powers that be to be. There's a time and place for that, by the way, of course. When the emperor is mad and he is killing anyone who's smarter than he is, you intentionally don't be smarter than the emperor, because you'd rather not die today. Right? This is an old Chinese emperor story, right? The mad emperor. Any one of his ministers who came up and demonstrated more intelligence than him would be put to death. So one minister played dumb. I don't know. Played dumb for quite some time because he knew that was the only way to save his skin. And eventually the old emperor, the mad emperor, died. And this one minister who was left, then he became the emperor. So find your true royal emperor self within. This is the idea of these first 2 day-longs. Stay tuned. I'm going to put together another video, and I will talk about the next 2 day-longs in the next video. And then in a third video, I'll talk about the last 2 day-longs that we're going to be doing together. And then you can decide either to commit to all 6 or drop in for the day that is essential for your being to evolve. And that's what we're here to do, to witness one another and to observe one another and to support one another without judgment. Well, without damnation, let's put it that way. We'll be able to witness and in a non-shaming way, give feedback so that we can see ourselves in that mirror. That mirror there. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And leave any comments or questions that you might have, or reflections or reactions to these ideas of tracking sensation and coming into accountability. What does that mean for you? Thanks so much. Matthew Sweigart here, signing off. Sage Buffalo with great heart. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.